Hi friends, this is Jasmin with Earth Beauty Gallery, and today I want to do a slightly different video. I normally talk about tarot vibes, but I also do art and jewelry. And when I was getting ready for a show, I had to make some jewelry, and I used different clasps for necklaces or bracelets, and I wanted to do a little video talking about these. There are many different clasps. The one that I use the most are either the lobster clasp, because all you have to do is pull this lever back, you have an opening, and then you can put the ring in and you're hooked up. However, the older we get, the trickier it is to work with these. And so in the past, I've also used magnetic clasps, and I tried them out myself on some of my jewelry. They have little magnets in, and then you put your string on either side or your wire, and it looks very easy. It is very easy. However, what I found is when I went grocery shopping and I used the card would sometimes undo the magnet. And luckily I would catch my bracelet before I put the card back. So it all depends on what kind of magnet you have. Nowadays, instead of having magnets where you just pull it apart, these you slide apart, and you see how harder this is to make it apart. So I think these would be a lot better, and because it doesn't just pull apart this way, you have to pull apart that way. Same with this one. It's again, this has hardly, so it all depends on how strong a magnet you get. But this looks very pretty, but it wasn't as strong as this magnet here. As you can see, this is very strong. Now, if you go through the airport, you have to kind of let them know that you have a magnet. And if you have a pacemaker, you have to be careful with that too. I think these are weak enough, but I would always double check if you have any kind of jewelry with a magnet. Then and you have a pacemaker or going to have a pacemaker, I would make sure to mention that you have jewelry with a magnet, and if that would be any kind of problem. Then we have the eye hook clasp. And the eye hook is, you have a hook, and here, this is where you hook your piece in. One part of the clasp goes in here. But I've noticed on that, this is good for older people. And there are different hooks where you can put them in. You could put it in like in a big jump ring. Then this would be really easy. Because, like I said, with the lobster clasp, it's for older people, it's hard to handle because everything is so tiny. This, they just have to, whoopsie, it fell down. No, it's right here. You can, if you have a necklace, you can just pull the necklace forward and look down or do it in front of a mirror and then put it in. But I tried it, and when I recommend it for necklaces because you won't move that too much. However, with a bracelet, sometimes it comes undone. So, there. The next one is a toggle clasp. And here I have, that's one of my bracelets. And this is a toggle clasp. And you put it through the loop, through the ring. And then that holds it. And it doesn't, usually, very rarely does it ever come undone. Especially on bracelets. This is very secure. But again, if you're older, it's a little bit challenging. And I saw a video the other day there somebody fixed this. So you put your one end and then you tape it down. On your wrist, and then you take the other end and voila. And this way, this does not go anywhere, and you have a little bit more control. So that might be a cute little trick. And here we have a circle clasp. That's even tinier than the lobster clasp. That's probably my least favorite clasp to do. And then you just put it through a jump ring, because the opening is so tiny, maybe a millimeter or two, and you have to be really, this might be good for a necklace, but on a bracelet I can see how that could be an issue. Yeah. And then, like I said, we had the lobster clasp, and then and the toggle clasp, toggle, lobster, magnetic, and this is called the filigree. It has a little opening here, and you push the other end in, and usually you can hear a click, and then your wire goes on either end. And this can be not too hard. This is one of the easier, but it's also most of the time secure. And I have one here. See? Then you never had to do it on the camera, so bear with me. And you just push it in. And this one is a little bit different. This one has a clip to hold it in place. And then it's very secure. So to sum it up, I like the toggle clasp very much. I like the lobster clasp because there are different sizes. You can get them bigger, but when you open it, you have a little bit more room. Look how big the gap is to get the jump ring through. You have the magnetic clasp. I would prefer the ones where it goes sideways, because you see how strong it is. And with magnetic, make sure that in the airport you're aware of that, or any other where they have scans. And also